Welcome to the Robert D. Gaylor Non-Commissioned Officer Academy Virtual Graduation Ceremony for Class 21-7. I am Technical Sergeant Timothy Robinson, your MC for today's ceremony, assisted by Technical Sergeant Corey Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Senior Airman Bagley from the Band of the West and the invocation by Chaplain Pakakar.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in prayer. Most gracious and loving God, we thank you for being with us at this graduation ceremony to give honor to those who have set their hearts to do their best and to achieve excellence. Today we are truly blessed. The best are among us. We pray for our non-commissioned officers, wingmen, leaders, and warriors, and give thanks to you for their hard work, dedication, and service to our country. We also pray and give thanks to their leadership team, instructors, family members, and friends who contributed to their success and helped them succeed. May this graduation day be a celebration of your blessings and grace among them all. May you strengthen them and give them courage as they continue to lead the way and make a difference to our great Air Force. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Pakakar. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our Commandant, Chief Master Sergeant Andrew Small, thank you for attending today's graduation ceremony. We would also like to give a special thank you to our award sponsors. Those contributions are critical to our professional military education program, and our award sponsors are the Air Force Association, Celebrate Excellence, USAA, and Geico Local Office. Today marks our 109th graduation ceremony since 30 March 2006, when the Lackland NCO Academy was renamed the Robert D. Gaylor NCO Academy to honor our 5th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. On 19 August, the students of Class 21-7 joined the Robert D. Gaylor NCO Academy virtual course to increase their impact as leaders. Each of them understood that leadership is an honor that must be earned every day, and by their performance over the last 5 weeks, they have proven themselves ready to serve in future leadership roles. At this time, we will recognize the graduates of Class 21-7.
Total Force Crimson's Hustler 6 was comprised of 4 OSI agents and 2 Security Forces members, Special Agent Adriana Vorderbruggen, Special Agent Chester McBride, Special Agent Peter Taub, Special Agent Michael Cinco, Technical Sergeant Joseph Lim, and Staff Sergeant Louis Bonacasa. The members were all assigned to Bagram Air Base's Expeditionary Detachment 2405, Afghanistan. On 21 December 2015, the deadliest day in OSI history, the Hustler 6 went on an outside-the-wire mission in a local village to obtain information critical to the airbase's security. While on foot patrol during their mission, a suicide bomber on a motorcycle approached them and detonated, killing all 6 members. The flight is named to honor their memory and remember their sacrifice.
Now introducing Crimson Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Dean Mitchell, Tony Banks, Justin Buckley, Connie Choctoot, Brian Coates, Jacob Collins, Jory Kubicek, Aaron Moore, Andres Aloya Gonzalez, Michael Opie, Karina Quiros, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Sylvia Smith.
Mako 30 was a call sign of the SEAL Team 6, whose mission was to take control of the Takugar mountain peak during Operation Anaconda. On March 4, 2002, the team's MH-47 Chinook took heavy fire, and Petty Officer First Class Neil Roberts fell from the back. The Navy SEALs, along with Technical Sergeant John Chapman, attempted to recover Petty Officer First Class Roberts, but fell under heavy fire when they touched down. Technical Sergeant Chapman was shot and believed to be killed, and the SEAL team was forced to retreat. Footage showed Technical Sergeant Chapman still alive and fought for several hours after encountering enemy forces, before he was shot and killed. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor on August 22, 2018. The flight was named to honor Mako 30 and their bravery.
Now introducing Mako Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Lucas Wright, Tresvant Berry, Alejandro Benacourt, Nina Cephalou, Alec Griego, Wesley Hale, Angel Hill, Kyle Lever, Corey McLaughlin, Diane Munoz, Donovan Purcell, Sean Smith, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Timothy Robinson. Mako Flight is also the champion of the Hot Fries Honor Flight competition.
In 2005, while serving in the United States Air Force in Afghanistan, then Technical Sergeant Israel Del Toro was following routine orders when his Humvee rolled over a buried pressure plate mine and exploded. The blast left him in a coma for nearly 3 months, with burns covering the majority of his body. He was given a 15% chance of survival, but Del Toro defied the odds and made a miraculous recovery. Despite the obstacles, Del Toro remained determined and made a promise to himself that he would return to active duty one day. In less than a year after the accident, he was walking and breathing on his own and was awarded the Purple Heart for his bravery in the face of adversity. In 2010, Del Toro achieved his goal and became the first 100% combat-disabled Air Force technician to re-enlist. The flight was named to honor Senior Master Sergeant Del Toro's dedication and sacrifice to service.
Now introducing Del Toro Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Brandon Underwood, Maxwell Anguigny, Rena Blair, Cody Chrisman, David Eckert, Simon Kenyora, Scott Lay, Diana Lopez, Derek Murray, Antonio Padilla, Justin Purrier, Johnny Rodriguez, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Michael Fontaine.
On his first mission, May 1, 1943, Staff Sergeant Maynard Snuffy Smith saved the crew of a B-17 Flying Fortress over the skies of France after they drifted off course and were taken on gunfire from German fighters. In between helping his wounded comrades, Smith manned the machine guns and fought a raging fire. For nearly 90 minutes, Smith alternated between shooting at attacking fighters, tending to the wounded, and fighting the fire. To starve the fire of fuel, he threw burning debris and exploding ammunition through large holes in the aircraft. After the fire extinguishers were exhausted, Smith finally managed to put the fire out, in part by urinating on it. For his gallantry and bravery, Staff Sergeant Smith was awarded the Medal of Honor. For these same reasons, the flight was named in his honor.
Now introducing Smith Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Aaron McKeithen, Seth Bergeron, Marissa Brockman, Daniel Fox, Trayvon Guillory, Dominique Kaginski, Jared Karcher, Ryan Ligon, Luis Quincy, Kyle Rupel, Shanisha Weathersby, Jesse Wilson, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Vladimir Komakov.
On 2 November 2016, an AC-130U gunship, Spooky 43 crew, fought a 2-hour battle over Kunduz, Afghanistan. They were supporting a team of Army Special Forces and Afghan Army commandos who were on late-night mission to capture and kill Taliban leaders. Under heavy hostile resistance, 16 casualties were sustained early in the battle, and the crew fought back, firing danger close to ensure a return and safe landing. The crew successfully eliminated 50 enemy personnel and ensured the lives of friendly forces on the ground. Their heroic efforts granted them numerous air combat medals and accolades, including the McKay Trophy from Air Force Vice Chief of Staff, General Stephen Wilson.
Now introducing Spooky Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Anthony Potenzone, Saxit Buxentorn, Snezana Dilly, Kyle Ferry, Dustin Hansen, Eric Hernandez, Kristen Johnson, Austin McGuire, Joshua Ramirez, Christian Robelin, Kenneth Wise, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Adam Gibson.
On 27 April 2013, 4 airmen took off from Kandahar Air Base, Afghanistan, on board the MC-12W, call sign Independence 8, in support of Project Liberty. The crew was tasked with finding and tracking high-value enemy combatants, as well as providing overwatch for ground forces, enabling coalition forces to return home alive and safe. The mission was the first flight in Afghanistan and first combat flight in an MC-12 for pilot Captain Reed Nishizuku. At 12:40 a.m., Independence 8 encountered heavy clouds, and in their attempt to evade the weather, dramatically lost airspeed and found themselves in an unrecoverable stall. All 4 combat heroes gave their lives in service to their country on that morning. The flight was named to honor their sacrifice.
Now introducing Independence Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Eugene Metchin, David Cortez, Yves Duray, Dakota James, Lena Lau, Alyssa May, Matthew McGuire, Daniel Medina, Christopher Meehan, Jibril Mipanga, Kaylee Northcutt, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Corey Woods.
On 9 August 1945, Bockscar, sometimes called Bockscar, piloted by the 393rd Bombardment Squadron's commander, Major Charles W. Sweeney, dropped the Fat Man nuclear bomb with a blast yield equivalent to 21 kilotons of TNT over the city of Nagasaki. About 44% of the city was destroyed. 35,000 people were killed and 60,000 injured. This was the second and last nuclear attack in history. Bockscar is now on permanent display to the National Museum of the United States Air Force, Dayton, Ohio, next to a replica of a Fat Man.
Now introducing Bockscar Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Zachariah Birch, Justine Cologne, John Gallagher, Florence Godinet, Elisa Green, Jared McEldowney, Joshua Mullins, Juan Pedraza, Carlos Tovar, David Wurst, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Nicholas Sansoni.
Titan Flight is named in honor of combat controllers who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Titan was a call sign used by combat controllers during Operation Iraqi Freedom and is held in high regard. Some of the military's most difficult missions are carried out by combat controller specialists who operate in remote and often hostile areas. Acting as a one-man attachment to other special forces teams, these highly specialized airmen are trained in a wide range of skills, including scuba, parachuting, and snowmobiling, as well as being FAA-certified air traffic controllers in order to establish air control and provide combat support missions all over the globe.
Now introducing Titan Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Devin Butler, Aaron Barnes, Darnell Buchanan, Justin Durkee, Waylon Garman, Nisa Gilreath, Clayton Lear, Asia McLean, William Parisi, Alan Plata, Kenneth Sue Rudell, Carrie Varnes, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Caitlin Rovell.
On 11 March 2004, Chief Master Sergeant Ramon CZ Colon Lopez was on a helicopter that began taking small arms fire. CZ, then a senior master sergeant, and his team killed 2 enemies, captured 10 combatants, and ensured the security of 3 additional helicopters. For his actions, he became one of the first recipients of the Air Force Combat Action Medal in 2007, as well as being the only Hispanic American to receive the honor. Chief Colon Lopez is currently the Senior Enlisted Advisor of the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is the highest ranking enlisted member in the Department of Defense. He is the first Air Force member in the position. The flight was named to honor his bravery and service to our force.
Now introducing CZ Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Brian Washington, Elijah Bell, Brandon Blanton, Samuel Bonehorst, Kyle Chestnut, Corey Koval, Wendy Flagg, Craig Hamilton, Jose Hernandez, Michelle Jacobs, Christopher Stearns, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Peter Hillerin.
Nemo A-534 served in the United States Air Force during the Vietnam War. On December 4, 1966, Nemo was released to attack the Viet Cong during the night. In the process, he lost an eye as well as being shot in the nose. Despite those injuries, he saved the life of his handler, Airman Robert A. Thronberg, by shielding his body until medical help arrived. He was one of the first K-9 units to be retired and returned to the United States. Nemo was memorialized and honored with a permanent kennel and stone at Lackland Air Force Base.
Now introducing Nemo Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Cecile Finch, Israel Alatris, Joel Blair, Lee Broitsky, Adam Chambers, Trevon Clark Wilson, Casey Hall, Joseph Hansen, Mark John Meyer Golden, Michael Nielsen, Joanne Webb, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Alexander Inman.
Senior Master Sergeant Robert McAllister served 28 years in the Air Force as a firefighter. However, he amassed over 50 years of military and government service. Over the course of his Air Force career, McAllister worked virtually every position the fire service had to offer. During his multiple tours in Vietnam, he was directly responsible for saving the lives of 17 airmen and recovering several of those killed in action. He earned many prestigious medals, decorations, and awards for over 1,155 combat missions. The flight was named to honor Senior Master Sergeant Robert McAllister's dedication to the mission and his bravery.
Now introducing McAllister Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Jonathan Darkwood, Willie Ferguson, Jan Fernandez, Wesley Formiduval, Kyle Jenkins, Olivia Minks, Bo Owens, Matthew Racely, Travis Stiles, Cherie Surratt, Andre Turner, Maria Yalong, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant David Bridges.
On January 5, 2012, at approximately 4 p.m., just south of a former insurgent stronghold called Musa Kala in Helmand Province, Team 5, call sign Tripwire, maneuvered north on a deliberate route clearance mission to secure the freedom of movement for coalition forces and Afghan citizens. Their vehicle was targeted by a massive underbelly improvised explosive device, fatally wounding the EOD team. Lost in the attack was Technical Sergeant Matt Schwartz from F.E. Warren Air Force Base, Airman First Class Matt Seidler from Peterson Air Force Base, and Senior Airman Brian Bell from Barksdale Air Force Base. The flight was named to honor their sacrifice.
Now introducing Tripwire Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Bradley Hudson, Jason Archilla, Kayla Bonner, Patricia Galindo, Josiah Givry, Nicholas Liberty, Gabriel Peters, Ronald Seberg, Daniel Shoba, Kevin Vickers, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Daryl Henderson.
Chief Master Sergeant Dorothy Dottie Holmes blazed many trails during her 3 decades in the Air Force. She was the first black woman to reach the Air Force's highest enlisted rank. She was the first woman to retire with 30 years of continuous service in the Air Force, and she was the first female Chief Master Sergeant to be assigned to the Air Force Academy. The flight was named to honor Chief Holmes' tenacity and place in military history.
Now introducing Dottie Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Ryan Edmonds, Caleb Bruce, Mariah Flores, Terry Hager, Christopher Newberry, Julie Pepper, Joshua Romeo, Brian Smith, Jose Valdez, Brittany Valley, Johnny Walden, Richard Walker, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Samuel Weirton.
Now introducing Oscar Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Daniel Fortney, Athela Aletta, Jeffrey Dean, Tyler Evans, Brandon Hubenthal, Alexander Johnson, Garrett Peterson, DeQuaylen Rogers, Ryan Trips, Thomas Wicklinski, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Michael Napier.
Now introducing Papa Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Benjamin Myers, Ann Aguilar, Robert Allure, Victoria Cameron, Stephen Campbell, Buddy Chamingo, Dalton Costner, Jacob Hafmeyer, Jaconi Jameer, Marcus Walker, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Cody Gibson.
Now introducing Sierra Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Jacob Pierce, Isaac Arriga, Anthony Bruner, Zachary Castro, Jared Curtis, Ashley Hussein, Jordan McDonald, Jonathan Meyer, Axel Neves, Corey Partridge Reed, Portia Stewart, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Valerie Stabler.
Now introducing Tango Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Jeremy Cadillo, Zachary Bird, Cody Brenbarger, Nathaniel Carrier, Kyle Carter, Justin Durham, Brianna Hart, Kristen Hurdle, Daniel Husbands, Miles Morissette, Wilbertson Smith, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Lashana Reese.
Congratulations, graduates. There is no doubt that the greatest reward gained from enlisted PME is the application of learned leadership principles into our operational Air Force. However, during the course of this class, certain students excelled academically and as leaders. The Distinguished Graduate, Academic Achievement, Commandant's, and John L. Levito Awards recognize their merit. Each award is engraved with a distinctive quote from our Academy's namesake, the 5th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Robert D. Gaylor. Awards will be sent to recipients' leadership for formal presentations. At this time, we will present our Distinguished Graduate Awards. The Air Force Association, our award sponsor, has donated a 1-year membership to each of our distinguished graduates. The Distinguished Graduate Award is awarded to the students ranking in the top 10% of the class. These awards are based on both demonstrated leadership and academic excellence. The inscription on the award reads, Aptitude defines what you're able to do. Motivation defines what you will do. Attitude defines how well you'll do it. Opportunity, when the doors open and they'll call your name. Our distinguished graduates are
Technical Sergeant Andres Aloya Gonzalez. Sergeant Aloya Gonzalez is a member of the Office of Disability Council, Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, Texas. Technical Sergeant Dean Mitchell. Sergeant Mitchell is a member of the 326th Training Squadron, Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, Texas.
Technical Sergeant Josiah Jeevry. Sergeant Jeevry is a member of the 433rd Training Squadron, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas.
Technical Sergeant Caleb Bruce. Sergeant Bruce is a member of the 49th Security Forces Squadron, Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Technical Sergeant Alexander Johnson. Sergeant Johnson is a member of the 391st Fighter Squadron, Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho.
Technical Sergeant Victoria Cameron. Sergeant Cameron is a member of the 372nd Training Squadron, Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Technical Sergeant Anthony Brunner. Sergeant Brunner is a member of the 49th Security Forces Squadron, Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Technical Sergeant Cody Brenbarger. Sergeant Brenbarger is a member of the 13th Intelligence Squadron, Beale Air Force Base, California.
Technical Sergeant Lucas Wright. Sergeant Wright is a member of the 27th Special Operations Support Squadron, Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Technical Sergeant Brandon Underwood. Sergeant Underwood is a member of the 9th Special Operations Squadron, Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Technical Sergeant Dominic Kaginski. Sergeant Kaginski is a member of the 326th Training Squadron, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas.
Technical Sergeant Luis Quincy. Sergeant Quincy is a member of the 17th Civil Engineer Squadron, Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas.
Technical Sergeant Saxit Buxentorn. Sergeant Buxentorn is a member of the 316th Training Squadron, Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas.
Technical Sergeant Dakota James. Sergeant James is a member of the 355th Medical Group, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona.
Technical Sergeant Justine Colon. Sergeant Colon is from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio.
Technical Sergeant Nisa Gilreath. Sergeant Gilreath is a member of the 57th Intelligence Squadron, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas.
Staff Sergeant Ryan Edmonds. Sergeant Edmonds is a member of the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, Kirkland Air Force Base, New Mexico. We will now present the Academic Achievement Award, sponsored by Celebrate Excellence. The Academic Achievement Award denotes excellence as a scholar and is presented to the student with the highest academic standing. The inscription on the award reads, Increase Your Impact. The Class 21-7 Academic Achievement Award recipient is
Technical Sergeant Dominic Kaginski. Sergeant Kaginski is a member of the 326th Training Squadron, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas.
Our next award is the Commandant's Award, sponsored by USAA. The Commandant's Award is presented to the student who consistently displayed leadership characterized by integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. The recipient has truly proven to be a leader of a legacy recognized by classmates, instructors, and the Commandant. The inscription on the award reads, Leaders set goals, they establish the line of march, they give direction, and they give the vision to the workforce. The nominees are, from Tripwire Flight, Technical Sergeant Bradley Hudson. From Titan Flight, Technical Sergeant Nisa Gilreath. From Del Toro Flight, Technical Sergeant Brandon Underwood. From Sierra Flight, Technical Sergeant Anthony Bruner. From Crimson Flight, Technical Sergeant Dean Mitchell. From Tango Flight, Technical Sergeant Cody Brinbarger. From Mako Flight, Technical Sergeant Lucas Wright. From Smith Flight, Technical Sergeant Jared Karcher. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the Commandant's Award is Technical Sergeant Nisa Gilreath. Sergeant Gilreath is a member of the 57th Intelligence Squadron, Joint Base, San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. Our final award presentation is the John L. Levito Award. The John L. Levito Award is the most prestigious award any graduate can receive while attending any enlisted professional military education course. The recipient of this award has proven to be the most distinguished graduate, excelling in all phases of academics and leadership. The inscription on this award reads, "Training and discipline. I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it." This award is sponsored by Mr. Musselwhite of Geico Local Office. The John L. Levito Award recipient for Class 21-7 is Technical Sergeant Benjamin Myers. Sergeant Myers is a member of the 315th Training Squadron, Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. Congratulations, graduates. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Chief Small for his closing comments.
Congratulations, Class 21 TAC 7. Thank you for adjusting to the COVID environment and attending the Gaylor Academy, virtually in residence. Thank you for letting us be a part of this journey with you. I personally believe that the NCO Academy is probably the most pivotal portion of PME, and it's mainly because we receive students at the 8 to 12 year mark, and we have a chance to cement something that you've learned throughout your career or set you on a new path. So thank you again for letting us be a part of your journey. The last word of advice I'll give you from Chief Small as your commandant is you are more ready than you think you are. The Air Force has set you up and given you experiences and exposures throughout your career that built you to who you are today. They've even placed you in this class, 21 TAC 7, to learn from our instructors and peers to make your network better throughout your journey. So, I charge all of you to be your authentic self. This reminds me of a session that we had with the instructors right before your class started. We went over all the comments for 21 TAC 6, and there were a few negative comments, like you can expect, but there was an overwhelming positive tone to most of the comments. And it was because they said they appreciated, the students, you all, appreciated how authentic the instructors were. So I charge you to do the same. Remember, you are more ready than you think you are, so be yourself. I would like to thank all the award sponsors. I would like to thank the family and spouses that supported our graduates. I would like to thank the leadership teams out there that will allow our graduates to exercise what they've learned at the Gaylor Academy. Lastly, I would like to thank the amazing instructors that we have here at the Academy, teaching you on a daily basis. We will continue to be there for you in your time of need. Again, congratulations, Class 21 TAC 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Robert D. Gaylor Non-Commissioned Officer Academy would like to thank you for sharing this very special occasion with our graduates. This concludes today's program. Thank you.